Welcome to Video Head Cleaner, the podcast that gets to go outside one day a week. Is that a good? Today,
ooh, foreshadowing. I love it.
We're taking you on a dystopian journey of a 2017 film called What Happened to Monday. This film was picked by our guest. We do have a guest here today, Wade Byers.
Hello.
And I, of course, am Tommy, the original once, the only. I have no siblings. I don't have anything to worry about.
That we know of.
Tommy the one.
But I don't know about y'all. Yeah. So, Wade, what film are we talking about today?
We're talking about a film that's titled What Happened to Monday?
Yeah.
And how did you come to like this movie, I suppose? Because this was top on your list when we asked you what you wanted to see.
It was. This was a film that I just happened to scroll on Netflix, and I was just curious about the title. It had Willem Dafoe in it. It had a lot of interesting descriptions about it, so I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. Little did I know that it was 2 hours, but it was worth every minute of it. I ended up falling in love with it. It's dystopian, it's futuristic, it has new age technology, a lot of things that I feel are relatable, and also issues that I think we can see happening in the future society, as well as some that have already happened without giving too much away.
Yeah. I like this film a lot. It's kind of I think a little sleeper gem on Netflix. I don't know if it's streaming. I think it's a Netflix.
It's just Netflix.
It's a Netflix.
It released in theaters in Europe and Asia,
Okay.
Wow,
but Netflix controlled the U.S., the U.K., and a lot of the other places' rights. And so I think that's why it flew under a lot of people's radar. Sure. Because it does have Glenn Close as Willem Dafoe, and granted they're not like huge parts, like if you account for the runtime, but they're very important, like impactful roles that they're in. And
another Glenn Close appearance on the podcast.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. All right. Shall we just get right into it?
Okay. Well, first of all, let's not bury the lead. The lovely Wade Byers is, in fact, my boyfriend, and this is something he does often, is just scroll on Netflix and pick films. They are often not great, but this one, I would say, does withstand
Some
the
people
test.
might say not great.
Some people...
What are you saying? What are you saying, Kyle?
Wade is much more likely to give a B or B below film a chance just because he is bored, where I will walk in and be like, what in God's name are you watching? And he'll shrug at me, and I don't know. It's like, I don't know how did this go on the screen? It's just...
Well, that worked for me. I discovered this film by way of Wade's recommendation. So there you go. So sometimes you gotta dig through some dirt to find a little nugget of gold.
You definitely do, and that gold is so worth it every time.
Right. It's definitely the process of it.
Exactly.
At least he's not recommending you the garbage.
I'll filter that for us. You're welcome.
The first film we reviewed, or no, not the first one, like the third one, The Mummy. I mean, come on,
that's a great movie. I don't want to hear it.
We can't cast stones. But anyway, all right. So let's look.
Okay.
So the film starts with a dystopian montage.
It does.
Right.
It's fast. It's effective. It quickly shows us the state of the world and the story we're about to embark on.
Yeah, we get a little bit of dystopian aesthetic. Right, we get kind of the palette that we're going to work with for this film. Right, we get a kind of gray-green cast to everything when you're outside. Like all the colors are muted. No one has bright colors on. No one has any kind of happy coloring. It's all very muted and washed out and
dirty.
There are throngs of people everywhere. There are lines and queues everywhere, and there's urban decay everywhere and whatnot. This is like the aesthetic of dystopia.
And there's a lot of shots of like the overpopulation or
Yeah.
just lots of people in this, because it talks on the Open's voiceover states that in the last 50 years we've doubled our population, tripled the amount of food and water we use, and quadrupled the use of fossil fuels. Every 4 days there's 1 million more people on the planet.
I had to hit pause and just do some math here. That's like 91 million people every year. Is that right?
I mean,
is that right?
It would have to be, I guess, because we're on just napkin math, and it is right. And so, like, this is not the only piece of media that's covered overpopulation. It kind of is like a topic that is burgeoning up in some things. Like, I'll talk a bit more about Dan Brown's Inferno later, but that's a big one that goes about it. And like, I know, and people are like, Dan Brown, the like garbage author, he wrote a very poignant like look at an overpopulation. But anyhow, this is what we're going on here. And so we're shown a lot of real world things. Like we see Katrina. We're talking about climate change at the same time with overpopulation, what we're contributing to. Obama's talking. They do an Obama voiceover, our boy, talking about how overpopulation affects climate change. And then we progress into the less real, or at least the in-universe things, talking about how South America is essentially an arid disaster zone, and that agriculture is collapsing due to climate change. And so... And also, these things are like back to back to back. It's like, it gets you there. When I say fast and effective, it's like thing. And so, like, the next one it goes immediately to is it's like, okay, agriculture collapsed, so we solved that by making genetically modified crops. But surprise, these are bad too. We fucked up on that. And so, tell us what the crops do, Wade.
Well, the crops, they end up actually making the original problem worse. The problem is overpopulation, and these crops actually made the population worse. They made the women have siblings or
multiple births.
Multiple births, exactly. Like twins, triplets, quadruplets, etc. They just made that type of birth much more ordinary and popular.
So, plot twist. Just when we thought we were solving the problem, we've just multiplied our problem many times over, and so that presents the starting dilemma for our film. Right, we have seven sisters, a family of septuplets born. But first, I think I'm skipping past. I mentioned Glenn Close. Glenn Close.
She does pop up here, Her character is introduced at the end of the montage.
Our montage of dystopia here, sporting a kind of Margaret Thatcher-esque bun. This is some real. Is this future hair? I mean, this is like Hunger Games level future hair.
It's
right?
very hairspray, like a helmet almost to me. Like
it's a crazy bun. We're running out of food, but we got plenty of hairspray.
Climate change is bad, but her aerosol is it's vital. She makes aerosol from these aerosol canisters.
We got standards to maintain here. So we have Glenn Close playing Nicolette Kamen, who's a
political activist, conservation biologist is what we're told about her at first here.
But is the leading proponent of a one-child policy, kind of, I guess, maybe reminiscent of China's infamous one China policy decades
much so.
ago, right? And presented with a massive population crisis, China instituted this notorious policy, and we get something kind of similar, I guess, right?
Definitely. I mean,
sure.
A lot of this movie pulls from the real, and it pushes the boundaries on some unreal. But frankly, a lot of it is just quite real. Like the things start again when you talk about the math and stuff. Those are real figures. This is like watching a population graph go up. It's just literally exponentially just spiking these days.
And this montage doesn't mention why. I mean, why not birth control? I don't know. Like why?
Yeah. Other alternative means first.
We're this is. I mean, we can talk about the plausibility of sci-fi plots, but it's just let's freeze a bunch of children, as we're about to get into, in giant ice cubes, or birth control.
Right.
You all don't see me doing this with my hands. I'm weighing the two like a scale. And I don't know. Anyway, like this, we're gonna have to get into this maybe later. Like,
for sure, it's like what may have been tried before, and I mean, like, they get into people who are doing this like secretly and stuff. But sure. So what we're accepting here is that now, Dr. Nicolette came in, lobbied successfully to get the Child Allocation Act passed, which is a one child per family mandate. Yeah. And if the family does have more than one child, we're shown these additional children are put in a government mandated cryosleep, as you alluded to.
Yeah.
They'll only be awoken when we've solved our resource crisis. So we presumably have these vast banks of people underground, like a Matrix matrix of our own we've built, essentially.
Exactly. Or it's more like the warehouse at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where you take something, you just put it in the warehouse, roll credits, and we're going to deal with this. Who knows?
I feel like that's how everyone solves problems, though. Is like, let's not think about it now. Let's just put it off into the future. Our future selves can solve this problem.
Let's freeze it into a giant block of ice, and then put that giant block of ice in a warehouse.
Well, it's so funny. They're like, oh, there's too many people now. Like, let's save it for when humanity is much less than. And it's crazy to think that we're going to solve the problem, in the future, that we won't continue to have a different problem that we can't get these people to be awoken for.
I mean, well, it is interesting to think about that just because it's such a unique, they're treated like resources, essentially. If we ever needed more people, if we're like, oh shit, the plague has happened again or whatever, we have these vast banks of, I guess, children and orphans or whatever we're going to call them at this point, like to deploy. And so...
Yeah. Like, what would you even call them when they're unfrozen? Like, what do you call this vast population of people who have just now suddenly back? They're back. It's like frozen cavemen suddenly returning to an era they don't understand.
No,
or, I mean, I know you're not a Marvel guy, but the big movies, Infinity War and Endgame explored, half the population was snapped away in a very, if we're going to talk over population, popular media that's done it, like that was a big one.
Yeah.
Because they explore in other shows and things about how when half the world's gone, actually, we're not in a resource crisis anymore. This is kind of good. And then half the world pops back, and all of a sudden they're like, they want their apartment back and shit. They're like, I used to live here. And you're like, no, I live here. Like, get the fuck out. And, so again, I don't want to derail this too quickly. We've barely gotten into this movie, and we'll talk about it more. But there's certainly things that are interesting about it. And so on top of the Child Allocation Act, everybody now has to they have strict government monitoring, and you all have this neat little wristband that is essentially your ID. It does some other things too, but it's that. These are your papers. When they say papers, please, you hold your wrist up, and they scan it, and they say, okay.
It tracks you. It's kind of like a smartphone and tracker, just kind of like your smartphone as a wristband and more.
Or it's like your Apple Watch almost. It has all your information. You just almost like tap to pay. Tap here. Look at all my info.
You do, yeah. You can pay with it. You can camera. So it is essentially that.
It's like a chunky iPhone.
It's very chunky.
This is in 2017, so we've seen most of what an iPhone can do, and they map it all onto that, and so it's nice, I guess. But I think this is set in like 2073,
exactly.
mind you. So
So the tech, the how we know it's in the future is that all the tech is less physical, right? Like the bands project light on your wrist or your hand, and that's
a lot of
your
floaty
interface.
future holograms for sure.
The computer monitors are kind of like suspended light holograms. So it's again we're getting some aesthetics of the future, right? One is the dystopian part, but one is the kind of sleek, elegant tech part.
Which would make sense too in a resource shortage. That monitors and things, consume a lot of metals and glasses and whatever. If you could just shoot it up there, I suppose. But
it speaks to kind of a what is meant by like resource shortage. Like there's plenty of apparently there's not a lot of shortage like metal or whatnot. It's like biological foodstuffs and whatnot. So
you're definitely not. Can't think too hard about rare metals in this world.
No, not at all.
But you can imagine industrial pollution and But all right, so
we go with Willem Dafoe.
Dystopia, everyone.
Yes, bad overpopulation, things, sadness, gray.
Just when you think it can't get any more grim, here's Willem Dafoe. His glowering visage.
Yes, that's the smiling menace of a man who's been memed to death at this point, I suppose. But
exactly.
His name has actually been ruined for me forever by How I Met Your Mother, because Jason Segel's character talks about how his name sounds like a frog talking to a parrot. He goes, Willem Dafoe! Willem. But I digress. So Willem Dafoe's here. He's playing, in this case, a man called Terrence Setman, who we get his name quite a bit later. But it just cuts to him, and he is surveying a lot of babies in bassinets. Yeah. And the scene unfolds with every line giving you a bit more of information. It's actually a very neat way to be informative without revealing too much all at once. There's his daughter died. She left behind 7 babies, and
Well, she died during childbirth.
childbirth, yeah,
presumably.
you know.
Yeah.
Given 7 babies, I'd want to die too. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
man.
Lord knows how they got him out of her. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess at that point.
Put me out of my misery.
Yeah. If you've ever given birth to that many children at once, please write in to the show and detail your experience. Oh boy. Anyway, yeah. So she gives birth to 7 daughters, dies during childbirth, and we find out that she chose. It looks like a off-site unlicensed clinic. It looks like it's set up in just like a studio somewhere, and we find out that's probably the case, right? Apparently, Granddaddy Setman, Terrence Setman, that's Willem Dafoe's character, daughter chose this place because they wouldn't report them to the authorities.
Snitch on
right?
her, yeah.
The
The
doctor
doctor was
snitch.
a good guy, it seemingly, in that way. Or I mean, maybe not. We'll talk about the ethics of this all, but he's going to turn a blind eye to a woman having 7 children, as opposed to most of these kids. We learn within minutes of their birth, if you do have multiples, are gone. They are
immediately taken by the Child Allocation Bureau, CAB, the authorities, and so she gives birth here because they won't immediately report them, but the dilemma, of course, is what do you do with septuplets?
Yeah, how do you hide
in
that?
this world?
How do you live in this world with them?
Yeah.
And so the doctor does ask, like, how are you going to manage this? And Willem Dafoe's like, I have to, essentially. And in probably an immediate sign of maybe not being the best parent, he names the girls Sunday through Saturday. Just names them. He's like, there's 7 of them. What else has 7? Done. Like,
Which, yeah. I mean, he stumbles upon a plan, maybe inadvertently here. The names become important because, as we discover immediately after the scene of his daughter giving birth, and now there's septuplets, we cut to Sunday as a title card, and we see a striking woman. She's well put together. She's beautiful. She's simply dressed, but she stands out from the crowd, right? Just kind of a little bit brighter, kind of a radiance about her. She's walking through this dystopian cityscape. There's debris in the streets. There's strife. Everyone talks in kind of a somewhat tense tone, and nothing seems friendly about it. It's, just the color scheme, again, is kind of like bluish and greenish and just matted and grayish and washed out. And
we see her scan her government wristband for the first time, which does register she is an only child. As she's leaving her the apartment building where they have where they live, the doorman is quoting Langston Hughes, and acts like this woman knows the reference, and she doesn't, and it becomes important later. We're gonna find out why this is important. We don't really understand the significance of this as the audience yet, but also interesting to note the poem that he's quoting, "Dream Deferred." It's interesting. It's right.
About,
I mean, it's just a phrase that isn't often the whole synopsis of this little movie is
renowned poem, very simple but very powerful about repression and the generational weight of that, and the debt of that carried over until it finally has to be expressed. And it's a little bit of foreshadowing, perhaps, But anyway, she continues on her day.
Yeah, we see her day go through a few things, and it just sort of shows you a day in the life of what's going on here. Yeah. And not all of it's great. We see her witness and film, for instance, a little girl being taken from an apartment building by a mother screaming, like, no, that's my child, like, by the Child Allocation Bureau.
Yeah.
We see her go to the market and buy a nice, fresh, delicious Norwegian rat, mind you.
Yeah, so we get some sense of what the stakes are, right? She's going through the city, and it's tense and it's unpleasant, and
it's very populated too. You mentioned throngs of people. Every scene outside,
everywhere.
There's just tons of people.
It just gives me anxiety looking at it. It's everyone bunched together in unclean conditions.
Yeah.
You feel that nothing's really great for people in this area.
Feels more prison-like than anything else, almost like a prison yard, or like a detention facility almost, than like a urban center of any kind.
Which is interesting you mentioned that, because it seems like the residential areas are like gated off from maybe the job or the commercial areas, because she has, every time she goes to school or her job or somewhere, she has to go through a checkpoint. Whereas the residential areas, maybe this is why people are allowed to, or can hide effectively, is that they just probably stay in their little weird dirty areas out here.
I also wonder if that is just another comparison of us versus them, rich versus poor. Like, in order to get into the fancier place, you have to go through a checkpoint.
Yeah, well, they kind of allude to this later, but apparently where they live it's kind of off the grid a bit. In this area, there are also some homeless encampments and whatnot. So there are very regulated areas of this city, we can imagine, and there are checkpoints and whatnot. But there are maybe some areas that are a little bit that are further away from effective control in some ways, right? So you can kind of slip through the cracks, perhaps. Is the space that they can kind of live in is that, so.
For sure. So we don't get a definite answer on that, but she does use her government wristband as payment, an apartment key, and a camera during all the sequence. And when she gets home, she has a retinal scanner outside the apartment, which is interesting, and we'll certainly come back.
But I just want to also note Norwegian rat. Just when you think it can't get even more dystopian, you have particular kinds of rat meat.
Oh, yeah. This is a big rat. Like, this must be prized for its meat, like the chicken of rat or something.
To me, that's where the dystopia really sets in. Like, when you must select your rat meat, because one is a connoisseur of rat meat in this age. Like, oh boy, that's where it really gets you. At least to me, anyway.
Sure.
It's like, oh God, there it is.
It invites you to wonder, what is the rest of the world doing? Has it become too expensive, too inconvenient, too anything? Did they all die off because climate change? I mean, we had to genetically modify our crops. Did we genetically modify our animals, or did they just croak?
Yeah.
God knows a polar bear's not living in this world.
No, absolutely not.
It's gone.
Baby seal what? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, that's a little taste of the city, and so now we're back at the apartment.
They're home. So we see dinner being served. The rat in all its glory, and all 7 sisters around the table. So while being played by the same actress, which I guess we haven't mentioned to date, the same actress is playing 7 characters here. She's playing Saturday through Sunday again, and
I'm probably mispronouncing this. Noomi Rapace.
Yeah, I can get Noomi. I don't know about the Rapace, Rapace,
Rapace? I want to say it. But can I get a pronunciation?
I'm sure. Anyways, they're all different in things like hairstyle or hair color and fashion affectations, though, to sort of at least visually distinguish them for us, because it's going to be hard.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
Thank you.
Noomi Rapace.
Noomi Rapace. Okay. Cool.
She... Thrown me off. The robots are involved now. Look at the dystopian future. It's like, okay. So,
anyway, yes, we're back at home. We're serving up rat. This
is the first time we've met
the
them.
table.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're seeing these women, for instance, and
all adult.
seeing them all growing up. We'll go back and forth between flashbacks and the current often, and it's very seamless in doing so, because they'll often be talking about the exact subject matter that they'll then flashback and sort of give you a little backstory on or something. So, but right now they're all adults. We see perhaps Saturday is the only blonde specifically, and she's called out as having been kind of a fun drunk or something, a bit of a rebel maybe.
We get our first view of the family, of all 7 sisters in the same room, and like their differences and their personality. Right? We have Sunday. It was her day. We saw her come in, and she's the one who bought the rat, and she looks serene if troubled. She looks both serene and concerned, right? She's kind of a peaceful, almost mother-like figure at the center of the table, and then we have Monday, who looks serious, kind of dour.
She's nervous, presumably because of the promotion thing.
The discussion that they're having, we find out that she has a big promotion coming up, and it's her day tomorrow. So it's so she's presumably worried about that. And then by her is Tuesday, who's kind of the hippie stoner, of them. She has dyed red hair. We see her smoking a blunt later and eating some pot brownies, and then
nibbling a pot brownie for her nerves.
And then Wednesday is the jock. She's the jock. The Jim Bunny of the family.
Right, you've got some femme to butch scale going here for sure.
Exactly,
because Thursday is the butch.
The punk. She's very tomboyish, very punk. She's angry. She's the rebellious one, with some real consequences, as we're about to find out very soon. Friday is kind of like a
just
loner hacker nerd,
right?
Very shy and kind of mousy.
Yeah.
And then Saturday's a party girl, bleach blonde hair, just kind of her attitude is very bubbly and friendly. So
she's got this I wear in overalls but only one button is side is buttoned thing going on like throughout the movie. She's
exactly
she's
a cute mess.
Such a mess.
Yeah. Such a brat. so we have these they're septuplets, but they're all different. They're kind of like
very unique,
kind of colors of the rainbow, right? It's the same rainbow, but they're all a particular color of it, right? And they're all a day of the week too, right? Sunday is the more, you might even say, spiritual one. Like their day kind of corresponds to them in some way. Monday is she looks kind of business-like, and Saturday is the party girl, and so
which would make so much sense. Yeah, like you would want to be Friday or Saturday, right?
So it kind of tracks, So
it's interesting. Yeah, we hear them sort of discuss their lives and how this goes about things. They talk about work in an upcoming presentation, which leads you to think, oh, it probably would be different if I only worked one day of the week and had to like absorb from my others, just what they told me or something. And so we learn they have a nightly, basically information dump meeting to be like, here is what I did today. Here is video of certain things. Memorize this, because if somebody asks you and you're like, what? They're going to be like, wow, you should know that, Karen. Like,
Over the course of when we first see the septuplets, and just this moment of their home life, we get some flashbacks of them growing up and Grandpa Setman, Willem Dafoe, teaching them the system that they have to live by in order to survive, and it's very strict and it's very peculiar. But the most peculiar thing about it is that they get one day a week. The day that corresponds to their name is the day that they get to go outside and be in the world. And even then, not as themselves, but as Karen Setman, named after their mother, who they never knew. And so it's a real conundrum. They get one day out, and even then they got to be very careful about who they are and how they act, and they have to preserve this very, very important facade. And when they're at home, as their grandfather has encouraged them, they can be themselves. They can be a different person. They can be unique. But this is the tense dynamic they got to live their life by, and so we get them being schooled in this.
They're known to society as one person, but known as a different person to each other at home. Which there's a lot I think we could talk about with this, like just the potential symbolism of it. In some ways, it's kind of a statement about someone's personality, perhaps, right? The various. Yeah, it's like you're a different person at work versus you're a different person at home versus what society expects out of you. You're all having different facets of life depending on your environment.
Like there's something to be said about this notion of what the face you present to society and the very much more complicated person you are inside. It's a neat way of physically, portraying this dynamic, right?
Yeah.
Or it's not necessarily what the film is about, but it's kind of there, and it kind of makes sense,
Well, I mean, they drive home parallels. I mean, obviously, you're going to go out one day a week, and that's probably not going to be enough for a lot of people, because the other 6 days of the week, if you were like, you get to go out one day a week, the other 6 days you're Anne Frank, you'd be like, that's a shitty deal. Like, I don't want that to happen, frankly. But we see Anne Frank, or like any parallels like this, because in that Willem Dafoe flashback, where he's like, you have to work together, you have to be strong. you're stronger together. He's running drills where he's like, somebody's at the door or something. You have to both like fold up your beds that now look like bookcases. You have to go behind this panic room I built with a mirror here, which is its own interesting thing you could probably talk about for a while, where they have to all go hide behind the mirror, and just kind of how all these girls are behind one thing in the reflection back there. And it's interesting. Exactly. And so, I mean, Daddy Defoe built the whole apartment essentially to disguise this is happening there. And so we see little montages of him building that stuff essentially to be like, including sort of modifying the girls' bracelets again to say like, it's me, Karen, I'm a single child, like for sure, definitely.
He has basically created a system to get them through life, or so he hopes. It's grandfather of the year.
To the best of his abilities with everything else going on. I think he's doing what he knows as right, even though it might not be comfortable or fun or great. He's doing it because he loves his grandchildren and wants them to be siblings together, to be raised as a family with that kinship. In a world where they don't want families to be larger than three, a mom, dad, and a child.
And in some ways, he's almost kind of like a godlike figure, right? You know, he's going through the 7 days of the week, creating the world. Too. It's a lot of like great symbolism just to start with, you know, for sure.
And I mean, he tells them that they get to go outside one day of the week. Essentially, at like 7 or 8, it seems like they start to get to go to school. And then he talks about how they have to, when they are outside. Your name's Karen. You're Karen Setman. Like right before he drops off, I believe. Sunday, Monday, I forget which one goes first. Thursday was the first one to go. He's like, you're Karen. Just so you remember, like, actually. And they can't go outside at the same time. I mean, that's obvious. That's pretty, you know, if you think about it, of course. But that's just clearly stated, because if ever two of you were found outside, they're like, oh, well, all right, straight to cryo sleep with one of you, and maybe we'll go investigate the house or something. So
the consequences are enormous if they slip from this very regimented life that they have to follow. And lo and behold, as we see in another flashback, of course something happens. Young Thursday sneaks out to go skateboarding.
Oh, hang on. We're skipping a whole lot of stuff there. But, okay, you're right. Thursday's the first selected to go outside. She's
leaping.
She's very nervous in a scary new populated world. This is a nervous moment where she first uses her wristband at a checkpoint. We have a little tension of is it going to... But it works. And so we see Terrence tell the girls that the end of the day debrief is very important, which, again, this all flashed back right from a debrief, essentially, and is going to jump right back in it. And it goes over the events of the days. They all have collective knowledge. Like, it starts with a little, here's what I did at school today, but then jumps right into the girls watching the little girl be kidnapped, essentially, and like this sort of mistreatment of her, and just the cab, the brutality of it. Like, this was part of my day. This was Sunday's current day thing.
So they're drilled in the importance of sharing everything they experience, which I'm glad we talked about, because that does set up the irony of what's about to happen in the following, and then in the next flashback. This is where young Thursday sneaks out of the bedroom window to go skateboarding. You know, as you can imagine any kid doing, just sneaking out to go play, especially these kids.
And a transition from adult Thursday being like, this is shit and I hate it, and right into little, skater Thursday as a child being like, this sucks, fucking big doggy dog on the planet sucks camel dicks. I'm like, I hate this place.
So we discover that Thursday has been the rebel, has always been the rebel. And we see Punk Thursday in this first scene at home, but at Child Thursday, she's sneaking out, going skateboarding, and the consequences of this are potentially like super dire. If two of them get caught out, it exposes all of them. Who knows what's going to happen?
Because Terrence is at a recital with, I believe, Saturday. So that's when Thursday's like, cool, I can leave now. I'm not being watched by an adult, and so that's what goes down.
Exactly. And so they're wondering, where is she? Is she going to come back? Is she dead? Who knows? They're all sitting around the table, and suddenly there's a knock at the door. They all panic. Grandpa directs them to go hide in their special hiding compartment. He seals that. He grabs the revolver. tensely checks the door through it looks out the peephole and discovers, of course, it's Thursday outside.
Huge revolver, by the way.
He's packing. He is strapped. This is an old school big ass gun for sure. A nice little touch there in this future world.
But who does he open the door to find, Wade?
Finds Thursday.
Yeah. What happened to Thursday?
Oh man, Thursday was working on her skateboarding skills, and there's still a lot to learn for her. She ended up falling down, hurting herself. She comes back with basically part of her finger falling off. And that's how she is at the door.
She injured herself real good, and her finger is dangling by a thread of skin. It's real bad. Mm-hmm. And this, of course, brings up the most obvious problem, is that they all share an identity. So what happens if one of them loses the tip of one of their fingers? Well, they got to share everything, don't they? And they do. And so Grandpa prepares them for the most ultimate of sacrifices to continue this ruse. And of course, it's Monday. As the oldest, she is tasked with leading by example of being a big girl and showing the children how this must be done. And so while it's Thursday who injured herself and whatnot, it's Monday who had to make the first sacrifice, and was tasked with the ultimate responsibility of this too. So. Ooh, yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, and we see Terrence Sedman essentially being like, I warned you girls, and like, this is what happens. What happens to one of you happens to all of you. And so this is one of the things that probably sticks in this movie with me the very most, is just like the very stark and cruel reality that if you're in this little system, we're playing these little parts every day, we have to literally line up our bodies to look the same, because if you don't, and somebody notices that one day, like
conformity is a real threat in this world for this reason, for them in this way, because it's
such a huge lesson to learn, especially at a young age, which for what's going on in the movie, it needed to happen in terms of they have to understand the consequences of their actions. And this is probably one of the largest consequence that you can do without almost like killing someone off, because it's minor in the fact it's just the tip of your finger. It's not a big deal. You can still be an active member of society, but you have to share the same physical appearance with the rest of your sisters. And if you have
scissors,
right? Think about scissors just cutting off your finger. But what happens to one happens to all. And having something physically modified on you is probably going to be the biggest lesson that you can get to instill the consequences of your actions.
Yeah, it's. Ooh, family solidarity's got some costs, don't they?
Oh, and Thursday sees it, like her eyes are like real distraught and like teary and stuff through us, because she realized I did fuck up, and now 6 of my sisters are gonna have to have this happen, because they only show Monday, but it's very clear this is happening to all of them.
Yeah, they're
all lined up.
And those of us with siblings know that if your older sibling was bothering you or made you mad or like forced you to lose a finger, I wouldn't be talking to them. I would be so mad. There would be fights constantly. There would be residual hate. Like, we would not be that great of friends.
Yeah, you'd remember this.
I would hold it over them at any opportunity too.
Yeah.
And so immediately
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
So let's proceed into the film, because we're going to come back to that.
Immediately after this scene, we get a title card of Monday. And Monday appears to be vomiting her rat back up in the toilet. Yeah. A truly dignified place to be, mind you. She's then getting herself made up in front of a smart mirror that seems exceptionally shady, by the way. I don't know if you've seen this, but as it comments on her dark circles and what needs to be like actually fixed on her face. So, and also... I believe it's Sunday who's at the toilet with her, thinks that she might have a fever too, so she seems unwell, and we think that, well, Norwegian rat, you got to cook that right.
God.
Right.
So yeah, sure, okay,
Yeah,
sure. So I guess we think that it might be the rat. Who knows? Who knows why she's ill? But she's ill. But she puts stuff.
She wants to push on. She is the
Yeah.
one talking about how she's going to push this over the promotion. This is the presentation thing. I believe Saturday or somebody offers from the shower, like, I'll take over your day if you're sick. And she's like, no, not you. I'm going to do this.
She's
like,
very determined.
And so she goes to the checkpoint. She seems a little better now. And
let's talk about this mirror. This mirror, I think, is like really kind of a neat display of like future tech.
Right.
It like scans your face and then measures the deviation from whatever face you're trying to accomplish. Which I don't know. That's neat, elegant future tech. I kind of like it. It also seamlessly works with the dystopia. It's a little friendly app to help you conform to dystopian society.
I
Nice.
bet we're within 5 years of that because there are already smart
sure.
mirrors that are out there.
Oh, yeah.
AI is just subsuming everything.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me at all to have a mirror that makes me feel bad exist in the world to be like,
Oh, mirrors already do that. Like, geez.
I know. Just the manual ones.
Yeah.
You haven't been hurt by a mirror, Kyle?
I don't need an app to assist my mirror with
my mirror
this.
text man is like, you look shit today. Like, I'm gonna feel worse about it, admittedly, but
You're fat. Sign your mirror.
right. 1.6% fatter than yesterday. I see you there.
Do I need to get whiter too? Sign your mirror. Yeah.
I will not. Yeah, of all the things in this movie that are future tech, that one's probably on the horizons.
And also a little thing I wanted to know too. Saturday in the shower, she's taking a shower while Monday's puking her guts out because she's such a brat. She offers, kind of mockingly to take Monday's place for her and does a little kind of mocking impression of her, like responsibility and sacrifice, and says it very like stilted and whatnot. A bit of foreshadowing though, because sacrifice. Ooh, boy.
She drops it like a quote that I almost want to say seems like it came from the grandfather because he does have these little like cute quotes. It's like, you're stronger together, blah, 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 blah. And so I took it as that, frankly.
It does seem like a moment like that. Yeah. Very plausible.
So she gets to a checkpoint and she's getting flirted with by a guard there. She is making her way through it. She's kind of like just trying to get through the checkpoint, frankly, and is like, can I go? And the guy's like, no, I gotta ask some questions, and like, you're the highlight of my week. I love seeing you every Monday and stuff. And she's like, okay, yeah, I guess.
Also, want to know just another like little like. The film has a lot of nice little like references and like drops like a lot of like little symbolic touches.
Mm-hmm.
Another Langston Hughes poem by the doorman. First it was Dream Deferred, and then the second one, it's Dream Variations, which just the titles themselves, like we're talking about deferring a dream until it explodes, and now we're talking about maybe a variation on deferring a dream, right? It's just another little symbolic touch. Like it's dropped there. We don't really understand yet what's going on, but maybe something's changing, right? Like it, maybe there was a routine, but maybe on this Monday something's about to be different. So
and he seems like a good dude, and we see Monday sort of be like, Langston Hughes again or whatever, because she got her debrief the day before and knows that. She is the studious one versus. When we first meet the doorman, we learned that Saturday was puking up in a plant and did not quite share all the information about that, and so
little sloppy. Yeah.
Sunday was a bit caught off guard, frankly. But
which we see some of their regimented life. They have to share information, and they're used to this. They expect each other to do this, and when they don't, it matters. And this was just like a small little slip up, but it's the kind of thing that. A small little slip up like that in the wrong place, and like the jig's up.
They get found out that they have siblings because you might have talked to them about something very specific the day before. You try to bring up that same topic, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Why are you talking to me about this?" Yeah. And it would just open up a can of worms.
Yeah.
So she's being flirted with by this checkpoint guard, and presumably getting attention from outsiders and a man would be very rare if you spend 6 days a week indoors. We already saw Thursday get a bit riled up that she may never find love or have a real life that's not just 1/7 of one, and so it's just an interesting thought in that regard. We kind of move on. She doesn't really seem to give him a lot of, I guess volleying back the flirting too much. But Monday,
she kind of likes it.
Yeah, she's like, that's not bad, I suppose.
I mean, she understands that this is a security checkpoint, and so they can't let the guard down too much, and so she's for the obvious reasons, she's got to protect this like fragile fake identity that she's assuming just to go outside, right? She can't let her guard down too much, but she likes the attention. She likes the attention, right? Yeah, there's a flirtation with the guard. Who I've been in my notes referring to as Gardo. So I might say Gardo.
He has a name, but it doesn't come up for so long, too. That I also eventually... His name is Adrian, if we need to. But we next see Monday, she's in her office. She's in her elevator ride specifically up to the office with what seems to be a corporate rival, discussing who's going to get the big promotion between them. And the rival says he's on to her and gives her kind of pause. And he says this in a couple different ways. And as she's walking off, he says it again. And she's just kind of like... He's like, I know your secret, essentially, is what he said.
Very ominously, very, very sleazy, clearly antagonistic. Yes.
Which for a Monday before coffee is just too much. Like my coworker, don't talk to me until I've already had my 8 a.m. coffee.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
Threaten me with my dark secret in 30 minutes, please. Thank you.
I want to strangle you even more, you asshole?
That's what a murder in the elevator.
Cool. Yeah. Atta girl.
But it's double ominous because we then cut to the house where we see it's nighttime and the non-Monday girl's being a bit alarmed as to why Monday's not home yet. She's late for end-of-day meeting, which she apparently never does.
Yeah, and again, these little little moments of even though that's a little simple. Thursday very ominously says Monday has never been late, not ever, which a woman who is late could also refer to, missing their period because they're pregnant, right? It's just kind of dropped out there, right? It has potential double meaning, but we don't understand that could be possible. Kind of foreshadowing some things, but Monday is missing. She does not return. They're all getting quite worried. But
and her GPS locator's off, so the girls don't know where she is or what might have happened to her, more importantly, because they do have that sort of mechanism to be like, okay, where are you, I guess? What are you fucking up today, Saturday?
They have a very precise kind of clockwork system, and something is off, and so it's worrying them. This is, very unconventional. So.
We also get to zoom out. This doesn't really happen much in the film, frankly. They try to keep it tight and, I'm sure for shooting reasons, but it's a zoom out showing the world is mostly apartment complexes stacked on top of each other, just a whole big stack of stuff. It's kind of that
it's sprawl, just vast kind of dystopian urban sprawl.
Tenement
blocks on tenement blocks.
That's what Ready Player One. That's the one where they have it's sort of that.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not quite as trailer parky as that one, and I know that has driven strong feelings in people. I don't want to talk about the movie too much, but So the girls discuss what happens if they do get sort of listed, or actually, hang on. Yeah. So the next day, Tuesday is getting shown to be getting ready.
Monday just never showed up.
Monday never showed up, and so if your day's next, are you do I just go out and live my life, or
what do we do? What do we do?
It's never happened before.
Yeah. So she gets herself in front of the mirror of judgment. And it almost throws sparks because
you look like shit today.
Because Tuesday's a wreck. Bless her heart. she's been hitting the herb like a mad woman, and the mirror is clocking her for it. But she pulls herself together. She breaks out the Karen Sedman wig. This is where she's munching on the pot brownie. Yeah, and some pot brownies for good luck.
Should you be doing that? And she's like, I'm nervous. She's very much just leave me alone. I'm starving. And this is where they discuss what happens if they get listed, which is a little term, and I guess in universe it means exposed or captured or put on.
They get identified as being siblings. Which you is a no-no in this world, of course.
And Friday remarks in this discussion that technically speaking, one of the girls would get to live, which is no real comfut in this discussion. But again, perhaps some
very Riley notes. Hey, one of us will survive.
Well,
hey, cool.
It's probably fine.
It's not a helpful comment, but okay.
Just womp 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 womp.
Yeah, I love you, sisters. I want all of us to live.
Oh God. She leaves in the doorman, says good morning, and remarks that he didn't see her come home last night. So there's at least that too. And he's very charming. I don't know. He doesn't deserve. I don't want to get too far ahead. I love this doorman.
Poor Eddie the doorman.
And he's great, and nothing bad will ever happen to him, as far as you know. So,
so move right along. So Tuesday, she goes
to the office
to try to get some information about what happened. She discovered that the promotion happened. Karen Sedman did, in fact, get promoted.
And she didn't log out of her work tablet, which is apparently unusual.
So she starts asking some questions of her assistant, of her secretary.
Because at this point, she's going full-blown detective. She's I need to figure out what happened yesterday, so I'm going to retrace my steps. I'm going to talk to people that I usually would talk to and figure out what happened to Monday.
Yeah, which, no end-of-day meeting. They have no idea. Total information void, really. So they're really very much in the dark.
Information is a lifeblood for them. If you're missing information, you're risking yourself.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the better things of this film. They're really solid about that. Like, information is a very precious thing. The lack of it has grave consequences, and they really stick to that. And so good filmmaking. But so she's doing some investigating. She also finds out that Monday, as Karen Sedman went to a bar, their favorite bar, as it turns out, and so we proceed to the bar. She's talking to the bartender. Yeah. Nice bar too, pink, kind of frilly, kind of.
She got a great martini at it. I would go there.
Yeah,
she's Harry's.
Got some kind of fancy martini with like egg whites in it. To look like, looks delicious. She asked some more questions about, who was she with? We find out that she was with this sinister coworker of hers who was giving her the evil eye, or at least giving Monday the evil eye before.
Right. She asks, like, how much did I have to drink? When did I leave? And she's like, you barely touched your one drink because you seemed unsettled by your colleague.
Yeah. So,
Jerry. Elevator guy, Jerry. Yeah.
So doing the detective work, trying to find whatever clues, whatever leads they have about Monday's whereabouts. And then we cut to a scene at Child Allocation Bureau headquarters. Right.
Not quite. Or rather, that's just a moment.
Yeah.
But it is that she's doing great. She's like, I'm nailing this detective thing, and this day's going fine. But after she leaves Harry, she walks in the alley and sees an open car door van with two agents, and it's like, I'm gonna walk the other fucking way. That's but there are two agents behind her, and that's when they're like, get in the fucking van, miss. Like, I need you to actually.
Oof, stomach just drops.
Yeah. So then we go to headquarters. So you're right. But they also disable her bracelet right after she's in the vehicle, which the sisters see and are like, now we cannot track her either.
Yeah.
Now we've lost a second sister. Tuesday is also off the grid now.
Yeah. And it's so scary for the others to like not hear, not see what's going on, just living in Tuesday's world through a GPS tracker.
Yeah.
And you're watching it carefully because you're trying to piece everything together along with Tuesday with much more limited information the sisters have. And you're looking at this, all of a sudden the GPS tracker just goes off.
Yeah. They're disappearing.
How terrifying.
They're disappearing one by one. Like, how, that's
systematically being disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. And so we make it to headquarters.
We're at headquarters now.
Yeah. Tuesday is brought into a holding cell, and in the holding cell, we discover is Nicolette Kamen, Glenn Close's character. We see her earlier with her magnificent bun. Now she has more of a Angela Merkel-esque haircut. It's more of a Euro female politician haircut. I believe
it's a good way to say it.
I believe the current EU president has this haircut too. I think various French politicians have this haircut. It's
serious, no nonsense.
It's the continental haircut for female politicians, I think. So much to Tuesday's surprise, here's the head of the Child Allocation Bureau.
Yep.
Ominously,
who will be damned if her hair lies flat.
Yeah. Oh, God. But basically, just kind of slowly revealing that they know everything. They know everything about her. They know that she's of one of 7 that she's been living this complicated ruse this entire time.
She name drops Grandpa Terrence.
And when she's in the room too, Nicolette Kamen, her eyes and her body language is revealing the entire time. Like you see the recognition on her face, like of disbelief.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe I'm seeing you. I know that you're a sibling, an adult sibling too. Like that also has a lot of ramifications. I'm sure we might talk about later. But you just see the recognition on her face. You see the wheel start spinning as she's talking to Tuesday.
Yeah, and it's and this is something that this film is really very good at. We see characters and they're reacting, but then we discovered they're reacting to something else that we hadn't anticipated. And she, it seems like she's just kind of in wonder at how they have evaded the system this entire time. And on some level, she probably is. But the more she talks about how much food they were consuming this entire time and just how unethical it was. And so we were discovering that it's not so much wonder, it's just this kind of profound disgust that this happened, and that according to her perspective, they were so immoral about what they were doing.
Your grandfather did this awful thing.
She just can't. We discover it's not so much delight that they were this clever; it's disgust that they exist at all, and knowing that they shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Because again, according to Glenn Close's characters, her perspective, it's like this is an abomination. Like, how can y'all be doing this? And as this film presents, I don't know, the film is not. It kind of doesn't really make a judgment on this, right? We definitely,
I was thinking about that at the end. Yeah.
We get the sister's story, and it's compelling, and of course we want the best for them, but the throngs of people everywhere. Geez, they're just throngs of people everywhere. Like, oh my God, yeah. So
the last 10 minutes of this movie are very, very, very thought provoking, and it's something the movie doesn't take like any sides ever. I guess like certain scenes are certainly shot in a way where it's like, the siblings, you feel for them, but it is interesting that there's this whole backdrop of just this fucked up world, and like Dr. Nicolette Kamen, despite her methods, is kind of trying to do it in a way, try to fix humanity's problems in a way that she sees best to.
Yeah, it's a little wacky to just freeze a bunch of kids and whatnot, but okay, fine. Like
it's a solution that apparently works.
Yeah, there's a theory, there's a solution that's being implemented.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We see a graph at the end, and I will talk about this graph, but like, it works. So
it's following like the scientific method in terms of you have a problem, how do you solve it? Well, you just do these small steps, and you see your results, and you just work on it over and over again until you can fix it.
Sure, yeah, and it's.
And it is fascism without eugenics, as far as we see. We don't see, I guess, them being the most test tube sci-fi baby of whatever here.
Yeah, it's not as a they're not. There are no subjective tests being applied. It's if you're the first, good. Anyone after you, not good.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a brutal fairness to it. It's wacky. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of a crazy idea, but there's something brutally fair about it.
Yeah, it's that or extinction,
Yeah.
It's like, do you want to have one kid or zero kids and the world doesn't exist?
Right. Yeah. Or short-term happiness and a fun little sibling, or like, would you like to eat and drink clean water or something?
Sure.
So do you want all your meals to be out of rats?
Right,
because
exactly.
That's all we can feed people who can't feed themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't have Norwegian rat, what do you want? Finnish rat? Jeez.
Maybe a New York rat.
God,
get a little
what is this, hell? Is this hell
New
on
York
Earth?
style rat? Pizza.
Instead of pizza, like distinctions, like Chicago and New York, we have like
style
rat distinctions.
Deep dish rat.
Oh my God.
Sewer rat versus street rat, maybe. I don't know.
Kobe rat. Fine, expensive Kobe rat.
Oh, no. Okay, we're going to keep moving here. So, Tuesday is in prison. She's essentially trying to play dumb for a lot of this time, where she's like, oh my God, I'm just a single child. I don't even know what you're talking about. But again, Glenn Close's character is like, oh, honey, no, I know all of it. And she Tuesday's last plea, she gives a plea to spare her because she works at a bank and get the money, she says. And in a chilling moment and line, Glenn Close says, funny, that's what the last one said, as she leaves the room, and we hear Tuesday scream because a knife has been brought to bear on her. We see this knife flashed, and that's applied to her, let's say, in this moment. And so
again, we think Glenn Close is saying this because, well, they're septuplets. Of course, they're going to be similar. Of course, they're all going to have the same plea. It's a little bit of foreshadowing again. We find out that this actually has a double meaning too, right? You know,
it's really interesting watching this movie back because I think I'd only seen it the once, maybe. Yeah. Or I probably caught bits when you watched it, Wade, because you've seen it several times. But
this film actually it kind of has these moments where it's like playing with these double meanings, like where we kind of get the lead in is one way, but the exit from this moment is very different, and
to be honest, like on that topic, that's what makes watching it a second time just as rewarding as the first time, because when you watch it the first time, these double meanings you don't really understand. Obviously, you're not supposed
you're not picking it up.
It's a badass sci-fi action film, and it pays off in that way, like 100%. But like a second viewing, like there are these nice little nuances and like double meanings and just some ambiguity and some play on word, and
it helps making watching it again just as fun as the first time, because it's not the same exact story. It changes a little bit because you have a little bit more information that you get to play with, whereas the first time around you're learning all the information.
Because you get to see certain things the girls surmise or that other people surmise, and you're like, that is a good thought. It's wrong because I know what happens, but like that is logical if nothing else, I suppose. And so it's interesting. So after that, Tuesday screams. We don't really know what happens to her. We don't get that. We just get scream, knife.
Cayman's blonde-haired minion, her main henchman, is approaching her with a knife.
Let's name him for the moment, because I don't even know if he gets a name in the movie. His name is Joe, because I have him down. When Tommy talks about Gardo, I have this guy named down of like a sidekick, henchman, like the lead dude or something, and so I had to look it up. His name is Joe. Joe wields a knife at Tuesday, and so we cut back to the remaining 5 girls showing at home being antsy and debating whether to do something, because this is 2 of their 7 sisters that are gone now.
In 2 days.
They don't know, frankly, still, is our Karen Setman identity compromised, mind you. And so Friday, though, is watching the camera system at this time, being almost the perfect example of the archetype of girl behind the monitor. Like she's definitely that.
The spider.
The oracle, the whatever you want to have there.
But she's got the security feed, and she sees that there's a gang of armed men coming through the door.
It shows assault rifles on the scan. She's like, probably not great. And,
as if it wasn't becoming obvious that shit's going down. Now it's super obvious. Shit is at their door.
Everyone knows it now.
And we see Eddie in the lobby, and these armed men walking through towards the elevator, and just
gets like an error on his thing. He's like, what's happening to my like entry system? That's like his whole job is just watching this, and he's like, that's odd.
The computers get seized. They get hacked basically as this action is going down.
And so he does his whole job. He stands up and he's like, hey, are you a visitor or a guest? Or like a visitor or a resident, rather.
Resident or a visitor. And they just cap him. And
they just shoot him in the head. First of all, I'm just going to say this. They must have training at this agency for like sick death-related callous one-liners or something, because he asked visitors or residents, they shoot him in the head and the guy goes, visitors, and then he goes up the elevator, and I'm like, god damn, like did you think about not killing him? But you're like, oh, this is a sick line. Like, I
gotta do it for my coworkers.
Just to reinforce the dystopia aesthetic, we got some really bad one-liners too, just to really stick it to you.
Rip our poetry memorizing on jazz loving king. Yeah, Eddie. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. It's even more poignant now that you say that. Jeez. Wow. Yeah. So they make their way up to the apartment, and they are wielding Tuesday's eye.
Yeah, it's just as bad as capping Eddie.
Yeah. So we find out what perhaps happened to Tuesday. But anyway, they have what we can assume is her eye. They use it to open the door.
Right, it's a retinal scanner, which would have been hard to get through without this. Yeah, so they clearly knew about this. They were informed when they were coming for these women.
Yeah, it's kind of a little clue to the audience. Like they knew exactly how to get in, what they had to do. So something's happened. Like they have information. They've found something out about them that seems like a lot. Like how did that happen? But anyway, they're in the apartment. It's imminent. Four of the sisters are hiding behind the mirror.
Right. So we get the bulk of the family in the panic room. And Thursday is still out.
Thursday is out. She is going for the big honkin'. She's going for Granddad's revolver. Yeah. She is taking up the phallus real quick.
The magnum of God. Whatever this is here. Like.
Yeah, exactly. She's taking up the revolver that can kill God. But
only to find the revolver's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, exactly. It's
where did Dad's gun go to?
Yeah,
and hard to sneak this out again. Like that doesn't just like go in your prison wallet. Like that's this huge gun. Like,
it's a big honking gun.
It's moved with purpose.
Yeah, so stuff seems suspicious. It's sinister somehow, and things are about to go down. How does this combat unfold?
So the guards know exactly where the button is to unlock the panic room, which is our third clue, right in a row. That's like they have
information they should have.
Probably an inside job and some sort of information.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the guard picks the exact book, moves it, pushes the button, and they all have guns pointed at them, and they're like, get out from behind the mirror.
Yeah.
And the four of them come out, and the guards kind of laugh. They're like, haha, look at these like rats hiding in the walls and stuff, very very throwback again to the Anne Franks of the world and all this sort of things going on. But Thursday's still out. She doesn't have her big gun anymore, but we do see, as the guards are kind of mocking them, that Thursday sneaks up behind one of them and bashes him in the head and starts this whole thing where now, because the attention is over there, the other girls start to sort of, pop. One of them crushes the nose of an agent with some sort of candlestick or something.
Yeah, they all use the theme of their day to attack. They all use their theme to attack. Thursday, of course, starts the fight because, of course, she would be the one to start a fight. Wednesday is very athletic, so she grabs a blunt object and just starts wailing. Friday pushes over a bookshelf. She attacks him with knowledge.
I didn't catch that. That's a good thought there on this.
Saturday picks up the iron that she was using to iron her dress and clobbers one of them. Sunday uses hot water that was going to be used for tea. They each use their element to attack and are very successful at it. They all really fuck them up pretty good.
And when you frame it that way, I mean, it's a great example of when they talk, you're stronger together, because that was what Willem Dafoe drove into them and stuff in that regard.
And that is a good point of you're stronger together. And this is why I really love this scene, because you have the underdog who are the sisters. Their physical appearance is they're skinny women. They're very tiny, petite women. And they're trying to take on the government, the big dog. The government is inside their home. What they are trying to do is protect themselves from this overreach. They have to physically protect themselves by any means necessary. And even, Friday, who's this big nerd, understands this and, goes into the fray. She's not a violent person. She's really pacifist by nature, but she knows that it's either her or her sisters or them. And I love the fact that they're all fighting together, and it's all layered too. They're all not really going at once. They kind of step in when another one gets knocked down, just to have this constant battle going back and forth. And I loved seeing them come together in solidarity to attack a common enemy for the benefit of the family.
Yeah, they're literally fighting the man. Basically,
It's showing
yeah,
the bonds
yeah.
of, siblinghood and family in a way that, again, the movie takes no real stance on, I suppose, but it just shows the strength of family and, again, yes, siblinghood and fighting for your life, mind you, but it just does. It's a coherent scene. I do like that, you talk about their sort of elements they use in this.
Yeah,
It's kind of a chaotic fight, mind you. The way it talked about
it's
it.
a badass action sequence.
There's just a lot going on, and so they do end up fighting their own sort of ops, as it were. Wednesday is fighting, I believe, kind of I guess like the head agent of that moment or whatever.
Yeah, the one who caps Eddie, the doorman.
And she had been fighting him like pretty knocked down, drag out. But he ends up getting a knife and is coming towards her essentially to finish her as she's on the ground. And she ends up murdering him via refrigerator because she kicks a lower refrigerator door open to trip him. And he stabs himself basically in the chest with the knife he was going to use on her.
Yeah. This film's got some great deaths for sure. And this is a good one.
I think it's also worth talking about even the weapons that the government is using in this.
Very much so. I was about to bring that up. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So the weapons that they're using are guns, but they're guns that's modified a lot in some futuristic sense. I think the most important modification that does come in later is the gun trigger.
Biometrics.
Is through a biometric. If you want to shoot the gun, it has to be by your registered fingerprints.
Yeah, they all have smart guns of the future, and they all have like handprint identification, which it's an element even in this fight. Thursday's trying to take a guy's gun that she's fighting and gets it, and it doesn't fire because the trigger locks. It's not the correct handprint, and so that prolongs her struggle. And in fact, it requires that she hold on to the gun and start trying to fire the bullets out.
Yeah, she essentially makes the guy shoot himself in the head because he has the trigger on it.
These bullets are flying all throughout this melee. She finally overpowers him, turns the gun on him, and presses on his finger finally one more time to fire the last bullet and kill him. But in the aftermath of this fight, we find that Sunday is on the ground, having been shot by one of these wild bullets.
Right.
And
it's not even a far-fetched technology. Like, I'm pretty sure this exists. It just doesn't get adopted, and you get called a stupid liberal for ever suggesting it gets implemented in something like in a wider fashion. Yeah. Because it's a decent thought. Like, as a law enforcement officer, if a criminal steals your gun, you would want them to not be able to use it against you. And so it's a very it seems almost common sense, but it catches the women off guard, and it is a plot device in this movie. It'll absolutely
matter
done
later
several times in this movie. So it's a good point to bring up for sure on that.
But Sunday's been shot. She's on the ground. She's mortally
stomach,
wounded.
heart, something wound. So she's going down. She gets a little bit of a moment or a scene on the way out here. But
and it's a very touching moment. It's very sad. Sunday basically just very rapidly has a complete existential crisis right as she's dying.
Oh yeah,
she realizes that she really doesn't know anything about herself and doesn't really understand anything about the world, and is just going to die full of doubt and confusion. And it's just, which
is interesting. You bring up, her religiosity and whatever, because she's stated to be a believer in this scene. And sorry, what were you saying?
No, go ahead.
Well, her sisters state like you're the believer of us, and again, when you tie it back to Sunday, the most religious day of the week, purportedly, it's interesting. But then she does say she doesn't know what she believes or who she is right before she dies, and so it's just a bit fucked up, especially because this person's got to live 1/7 of a life and is questioning everything in the last moments, and it's a very distressing scene for both, the viewer, her sisters, like all this sort of things going down.
And this is also like the first death that all the other sisters get to see.
Oh yeah.
The first two deaths were like quote unquote like off camera.
Well, they don't know. They don't
exactly.
know.
We're just kind of assuming that probably the other two died, but this one is dying in the arms of their sister. And it's really extra emotional because they are all there to see. They all struggled together and they took down the enemy, but at the cost of one of their own.
Yeah, and once again, it's kind of Thursday. It's not like it's her fault, but she's the one that kind of did it. Like once again, right? Thursday is the one to get her finger all messed up and required everyone to sacrifice their fingertip, and now Thursday, she was struggling with this guy who had a gun, but it was her pressing down on his finger to fire the gun. So it's like she wasn't responsible, but she's the one that precipitated the need for the sacrifice again. And it's just, oh, geez. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, well, it's very tough. And I mean, like, so for those keeping track, we are now left with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yeah. They don't necessarily kill them in order, but it is funny they sort of keep them clustered in the end here as we go and whatnot. But
Monday's whereabouts unknown, Tuesday's whereabouts unknown. We, the audience, maybe think that was her eye.
Yeah, and now Sunday is big dead. So we cut back to the CAB, the Child Allocation Bureau, with Dr. Kamen looking into a room full of captured siblings, saying, "They won't suffer. They won't suffer. I was assured of that." And she goes on to say she dreamed that the building erupted last night, just spewing forth all the siblings, and goes on to say humanity will never learn.
Yeah, again, like, once again, this film really rewards you when you watch it a second time. You watch this and you think, oh, she's concerned for their well-being. She doesn't want them to be harmed. That's good. And she's having this dream about it going wrong, but that's just a dream. You know, that didn't happen. It didn't happen like that at all. Certainly they weren't incinerated. Of course not. Ooh, some real foreshadowing going on here as we find out that this really had a meaning that we, the audience, don't understand.
Certainly. Well, I mean, we get if nothing else, we get the vibe, even as a first-time viewer, that there's a heavy weight and burden upon Dr. Nicolette Kamen's shoulders here. Yeah. She is at the top of this bureau that it seems pretty unpopular. I mean, with the people, why would it be? You're snatching children up and freezing them, as far as we know.
Yeah. But it has a very central and fraught place in everyone's life. Everyone's life. Like, there's some scenes in the opening of the film of propaganda everywhere. Like posters of, like,
the posters and like this. There's flags.
One child, one Earth, and
I have that noted.
We're all in this together. It's just some we can imagine just like classic propaganda. Back in the day, right? And so the presence of this organization that she is the leader of is just it's everywhere, right?
And we see the same backlash today with like ICE, like they're snatching children, they're breaking up families and stuff. And so it's
exactly.
It's what if the leader of ICE was a morally gray, something maybe even sort of positively leaning person? And again, I'm not going to try that real world comparison. That's just not the case of what's happening in the real world. But Glenn Close at the top of an unpopular organization,
bitch ICE Barbie. Exactly.
They're not the same. But she is at the top of an unpopular organization that breaks up families. And so there's at least a comparison you can draw to that today and what's going on in that regard. And so she says humanity will never learn. Like, I mean, she does sort of have a top-down educated person's view of, like, she's a whole picture, whereas a lot of us live our lives in a very small picture view, short-sighted things.
She's trying to solve a vast demographic catastrophe. I mean, and the film does not make any. The film makes it clear there's a vast crisis, and here's this way that it's trying to be solved.
And the agent even assures her that this is right after this. He says, and this is Joe, I think. This is Joe. He says she's not at any fault of any kind. This is the parents' fault for having extra kids, and that she is humanity's last chance. And so he obviously believes in her, and there are people that do believe in this.
There are two different competing ethical theories going on in the film. Basically, everyone gets a chance to live no matter what, whatever the consequences might be, even if we eat the world alive, or we got to make these brutal decisions about who lives and who dies, and it's going to be grim, and there just might not be any.
It has to be black and white. Like, there's no area to allow for siblings. This is the policy, and there's no straying away from it, no exceptions, no nothing.
Again, it's brutally fair.
On the face of it, it works. I get it. I understand it. I would potentially agree with it. Because it makes sense. If you're facing such a huge humanitarian crisis, you have to do sometimes the unthinkable or the extreme in order for the preservation of the species.
Oh, yeah. If you model, like, our aquifers going down at this rate versus our population spiking at this rate, it's like we have to do things, guys. Like, we have to do stuff. And so it is a poignant debate that I don't think will go away anytime soon in the modern future, but it's kind of a motif that's just coming up recently with overpopulation and stuff. And frankly, again, I can't overstate the amount of, like, because this was in fringe literature or some things, but with a Dan Brown book, with the Avengers movies, like the Avengers fucking movies, where a lot of people were like, damn, Thanos might have been right. Like, and when you have to think that, and you're like, oh, that's fucking weird to grapple with, like a movie, because it's supposed to be very straightforward, like they punch the bad guy, whatever, he's bad, but they're like, things kind of were like better when like 50% of the world was gone, or like it is in the popular conscious, and so we have this whole thing going on. And Joe's assuring Glenn Close's character she's good, she's fine. But the team that was sent to deal with the Setmans hasn't checked in, obviously, as we just saw them get shot, stabbed, whatever. Yeah,
they got dispatched in badass action fashion.
But Kamen doesn't want to go public or loud with this. She says that 7 siblings who made it into adulthood would destroy her credibility, so she still wants this to be quiet, which is very funny given a lot of the results of the rest of the film and what happened, mind you. But she wants it to be quiet. She's very
Well, and it's just we don't really understand what that means. Like, why would it destroy her credibility? We feel like, it'd create a scene we don't really understand. It's because it'd be 7 grown women being dragged to, their fate, even if it's being frozen or whatever. It'd be a ghastly scene.
Or they're showing she's fallible, mind you, that you could get around this, where
and that people desperately want to.
But I think you do raise a good point about like 7 adult women making it into adulthood. Kind of that's just really putting the thumb in her face of like, look what we can do under your nose without you ever understanding it. And that's what she takes a huge issue with.
It would maybe call into question the consensus about this, for sure. But
So the scene ends with as Kamen, she kind of looks at her watch and gets a notification about Jerry, Mr. Elevator Guy from Karen's office, and then dispatches Joe to say, this is your priority 1, then go back to the Setmans. And you're like, what the fuck did Jerry do? Like, okay. And so we're back at the apartment, and the remaining 4 women, I believe Friday, finds the eyeball in an agent's pocket. They scan it and confirm it's Tuesdays, much to their horror. But I did find pedantic nerds online being like, you're identical septuplets, and this is going to be the same DNA. There's no way you could know this is Tuesday. And I don't disagree. However, it's Tuesdays. So they do know that.
I kind of had a theory, maybe, if they maybe like did like a THC test.
Oh my god!
then
it's Tuesdays.
It's like
the eyeball's very red and bloodshot.
Oh my god!
It's leaking resin. So it must be Tuesdays.
Oh no!
Exactly.
So we now after that get a Wednesday title card. We're like, oh, Tuesday, a little dis-eyeballed. So now we get a Wednesday. And we see Wednesday looking in the shady mirror that just lights up red with all the various injuries she's sustained on her face and body, to the point that she's just like, fuck this mirror. Like, she's not going to even bother. Like, if shit's going down, she doesn't want to put on the Karen Setman persona. No. She's just going as she is, all sporty and fucked up, and she is going out, and she's going to see Jerry specifically because they don't know that this is a priority 1 of Kamen's or whatever, but they know that he was the last person that talked to Monday in the bar. He's the one lead they have left, essentially. And so Friday puts together a camera and says essentially like, I should have fucking done this like the last 2 times or something, but allows him to hear and see everything that Wednesday does here. So now she doesn't just have the GPS.
She also has a gun left over from one of the goons that tried to kill them.
That's true.
It doesn't fire.
She can't use it.
It's a smart gun, but it's big and bulky and intimidating.
And maybe they don't know that I can't fire. So that's the whole thing. And she shows up at Jerry's apartment, and he greets her, essentially being like, Karen, and cutting it close, aren't you? Like he knows something that she doesn't. Again, and this information exchange did not take place.
He's a smarmy greaseball. Yeah, exactly. So Wednesday enters the apartment, and they start talking, and he makes more threatening comments about, I know your secret. and I'm gonna reveal you. And she just whips out the gun and just brings it to 100 real quick.
Yeah. He's like verbally riposting or just like going to battle, and she's like, "What about actual battle, motherfucker?"
Yeah. This is not what he's expecting.
No.
He thinks he's playing a clever game of cat and mouse,
and he thinks he's won, mind you, because of what is actually proposed here.
Yeah. Here's beaten, battered Karen Setman, I guess, whipping out the biggest handgun ever, and looks like he's about to piss himself.
And he's just like, rough night, like, which he's like clearly been beat to shit. Like he's like, I've got the upper hand, I'm great at this, and then all of a sudden, like, there's a gun in his face.
Yeah.
And so, but he doesn't know the actual secret is the thing, and
again, like a moment when like there are two different meanings, right? Like Wednesday thinks that like he knows the secret, all caps, of her having siblings, and now just knows about this kind of illicit business transaction that Karen Setman has made. So it's a dirty secret, but it's hardly this like bombshell as discovered, but it's relevant. It's still a crucial clue. It's about a strange money transfer to someone.
A contract where we find out that Cayman is a new VIP client of Karen Setman's, but this was not communicated to the rest of the sisters.
Yeah,
mind you.
some crucially withheld information about a massive movement of money to Nicolette Cayman.
And none of the Karen Setmans know anything about this.
No.
And it's under her name, and they have no idea how that even happened.
Yeah, so they're finding this out that maybe Monday did something without telling them.
Yeah,
Perhaps,
and it's a contract that has Karen Setman's name and not a signature. The guy, Jerry, he says she'd be in jail if anybody but him found that contract, and it was a 407c fund transfer contract with Cayman. And so Wednesday, says, cool, show me that fucking contract with a gun in his face. And I don't know if he detected that the gun is fake at this point, but he clearly isn't intimidated by it anymore because he takes like the weirdest nonchalant swig of milk and is like from the little milk carton and is like, I'll get to it when I want to. And then we hear a gunshot and you think to yourself, but wait, Wednesday can't use that gun. It's biometrically whatever. And you're right, because he was sniped in the face mouth when he was drinking milk here.
Yeah, the milk seemingly explodes in his hand and he starts gurgling blood in addition to milk, and he goes down, and we realize there's a sniper in a building across the way.
And I think one of the things we didn't touch on before is when we were last at the Child Allocation Bureau, Cayman said to her goon, Joe, while we need to take out the Setman siblings, we have another loose end that we need to figure out.
Yeah. He was listed as their priority one target in that effect.
So then they said we need to go tie up this loose end.
Right. That's where we're like, what did Jerry have to do with this? And as it turns out, not a whole lot, frankly, but a little bit. He detected this contract and was trying to blackmail.
Yeah, he knows something very important, but not what we think it is. Is kind of the thing.
Yeah, he doesn't know how important it is.
Yeah,
since it's connected to Cayman, she, I guess, learned he accessed it through something and is like, he's a loose end. And so he's loose end and needs to be dealt with. And after he is dealt with here, the sniper is then immediately going after the Setman sister, because that was what he was told. He was like, get this motherfucker and then go back to them. And so Wednesday's still trapped in an apartment with a sniper and has to do some diving over countertops to get the blinds closed so that the sniper no longer has vision on her.
Yeah, she does some athletic juking and jiving to dodge sniper fire. She gets the tablet. Important information. I believe she transmits this to home. Right, so it's
all the
information of this contract.
Talking to her sisters like, hey, someone's trying to fucking kill me right now. Here's the transfer files.
Yeah, they got the video feed on her. So they're all putting like these clues together. Like something is just not something is strange. Something is definitely happening.
And she does manage to get the contract uploaded to her sisters during this bit, but essentially she's trapped in here. The Bureau, obviously, it's not just this one sniper. They send more people up because now the sniper can't see. And she looks around and is like, how do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? And there's just no way out. So she ends up in a bathroom.
Yeah.
And they do a little like tease of she looks in the bathtub and she's like, maybe I'll hide behind the bathtub curtains thing, and the guard that comes in there is like, oh, who's behind the whatever, but then she pounces from a corner and is like, ha, it wasn't the bathtub at all, like it was the Quonset hut, Peter, ha.
And so she starts trying to strangle him with like a towel, like the shower,
something, just
like
a
hose, or
rope. She's doing a good job of keeping it quiet for a moment too, until it gets loud and he eventually slams his head against the toilet and all sorts of manner of things. And so they know she's in there, and so she's double trapped in a sense of she's in an apartment, was already trapped there.
Well,
now she's trapped in a room.
They hear something.
They hear clattering,
but they don't know anything else. They just know that their guy is not responding.
Right, because they try to radio him.
Yeah.
And so she's left in there all of a sudden panicking. And again, in this universe, the guns only work with biometrics.
Yes.
So she is left to be like, how do I get out of this?
And so we saw how effective taking a piece of one's body to manipulate the technology of this world can be. And so the Wednesday turns this on its head a bit. She cuts the fingertip. we get a lot of severed fingertips in this film.
It's a reverse Tuesday.
This is a device in this film for sure. But she cuts the incapacitated guard's fingertip off, puts that on like a toothpick or something, and is wielding that as the way of activating the guy's smart rifle. And with this, she dispatches the guards that approach her in the bathroom. She finds the one last guard who's radioing in to Joe on ground level about what's happening. And
well, let's talk about that, because this is very funny. She gets two guards immediately out of the fucking, like, that are coming in the bathroom, and there's like one or two left in the apartment. And so there's a funny scene where, the head agent, Joe, downstairs is like, hey guys, do you need backup? And Wednesday comes out of the bathroom, sees one guy answering Joe's phone call, being like, hey, Joe, and just fucking guns him out a window with like 87 bullets, where he ends up like going all out the window in the balcony and falls down in front of Joe, and Joe goes, guess so. He just fucking gets all these, like, again, huge on sarcasm and callous death one-liners.
And then after that, just sends another 5 guys up there. Just wave after wave of his own men he sends to their demise, I guess, or he's ready to.
2 seconds after his colleague collapses in a bloody heap before him, he's like, sarcastic remark. I love it.
Yeah, that's how you know who the bad guys are. Yeah, their one-liners are just shit, absolute shit. Yeah.
So she still needs a way out, though. Agents are now streaming up the stairs, or more agents, I guess, because again, Joe's like, "All right, back up, go."
Yeah. So Friday.
How does she get out, Wade? Tell me about this.
Oh my God! So she's talking to her sisters and is like, "You guys, I need to figure out a way to get out of here." And she said, "Oh well, use the front door." And then the sister's like,
thanks, Friday.
Yeah, thanks. Very helpful, but there's actually agents coming through the front door right now. So Friday.
You thought of that.
Yeah, exactly. So Friday, being the computer genius she is, she has the schematics of the building out, and she says, well, if you jump out of the window right here, you're going to land in a dumpster, and the trash within the dumpster will soften your blow for when you fall. Yeah. So she said, all right, let's defenestrate myself and land in this big old trash can. So she jumps out the window and just thud right into the empty trash can from about 2 or 3 stories high.
Womp, womp, womp.
And that's when Wednesday said, there's no trash in here. And Friday responds, the trash gets taken out Wednesday morning. So just hours ago was all that trash that could have softened her fall taken away. So she just had a really hard landing.
Yeah.
Friday was in a hurry.
Yeah. It was the best way out, really, still. But yeah.
Are you alive? Yes.
Yeah. She takes a big hard fall. It's kind of comedic, but also she looks rather injured. But
3 stories. She's not like crushed to death.
She's not. She's not better than she was before that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. But she's okay. She gets on her feet. She's got to run because the goons are hot on her trail.
Yep.
And so Wednesday starts running. And it's a hot pursuit of her being chased by armed goons, and she's running through back alleys and going through doors and going through
like a slum.
Yeah,
essentially we see.
Yeah, just kind of blasted urban cityscape. Just she's running through to escape.
She makes it into one door in an alleyway, which I guess I interpret as some sort of slum or this or that. Again, it's packed with people.
Yeah.
But as she is running from the agents, they clearly have no love for these agents and what they are. And two of them end up dumping some flaming trash upon the agents in a very helpful to Wednesday moment. And they all kind of cheer. Everybody in the building's like, "Fuck those guys!"
Mm-hmm. And it speaks to the tense consensus surrounding what this organization does. Like it's conflicted.
Yeah,
society is conflicted about it for sure. So, but there's a bit of solidarity going on with flaming trash.
And she ends up sort of honestly, it's very funny in this scene. Everybody keeps going about their day for the most part, and the next building she enters and just doesn't give a shit that this bloody, heaving with sweat or heavy breathing woman is just running around and doing stuff or bashing guards in the nose. They're just here to fix this pipe.
Yeah, they don't care.
But she goes to this whole industrial building, and then she happens to burst out of a building while being chased, and it happens to put her right in the path of the car of Joe, which he swerves and they slam into a pole, and she goes but also kind of worked out great. Kind of worked out fine for you.
Once again we get a little flipping the script a bit. The last time we saw Joe in a vehicle was a very grim scene of Tuesday getting abducted, and now it's him in his vehicle going off course and colliding. So we I don't know. Once again, Wednesday's flipped the script twice. Maybe she's going to get away. Maybe she's going to do it. But anyway, she continues running. And see, where does that end up?
She's running through a populated area, and eventually the soldiers kind of tire of chasing her and just start shooting, which just cap a couple bystanders for sure. Again, every time something like this happens, I keep thinking back to Glenn Close's scene where she's like, "Just keep this quiet." Really, just a quiet operation, and they're just gunning down people in a crowd at this point.
Yeah.
But Friday says she needs to get to the roof, and she can get Wednesday home from there. But as she's trying to find a route from that, there is banging at the home apartment door, where Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are.
In the midst of the gang at at home trying to coach Wednesday through this, right? There's a knock at the door. They check the camera. They see what looks like a Child Allocation Bureau goon, like one of their henchmen at their door knocking on it, and so of course they freak. They don't know what to do, but they got to go radio silent, leaving Wednesday kind of hanging, just to kind of figure the situation out on her own for a bit. Saturday volunteers to handle this, to
try to make him go away,
deflect whatever scenarios at their door. We discovered that it's good old Gardo. We saw him with Monday earlier. Right?
I also want to interject a little bit there. It seems that Thursday is maybe a bit of a leader of the group too, in the fact that she is kind of leading decisions, whether they're right or wrong. She's the kind of de facto leader. The sisters look up to her as a source of inspiration and stuff like that. So when this guard comes to the house, she's like, I'm going to deal with him.
Yeah, she was going to deal with him.
And that's when Saturday, I think, realizing that Saturday hasn't really done much. Like Thursday's been the one kind of helping coordinate efforts, saying, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to. She's acting as a problem solver. Yeah. I feel at this point, Saturday, she really wants to help, and she just doesn't know how. And so she says, this is my opportunity to be the one that's helping my sisters, because I haven't done anything really yet.
And between the three of them that are there, Friday probably could not handle this situation. Yeah. And Thursday will probably go full violent.
Yeah, that's a good
immediately.
point.
And so it's really
She's,
Saturday.
Yeah,
she's
most
the one.
apt
She's the
to
only one that can
handle
really
this
yeah.
in a non-confrontational way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what they need.
Yeah, exactly. So she takes charge. She opens the door, and it's Gardo.
Adrian.
Yeah. Well,
No, it's Scardo.
yes.
Adrian.
Well, okay. Yes. Yes. As Kyle has pointed out, it is Adrian. In fact, noticing. What he thinks is Karen Setman's new look. Saturday has bleach blonde hair. It's cut shorter. She dresses, she like a hot mess, but kind of she wears
the one
pinks
strap
and,
overalls, and she's pink. She's got a whole thing going on that he's never seen before.
So it's a totally different look from Monday for sure. So he's curious. Saturday lets him in.
Well, he kind of invites himself, and he's
Yeah,
like, "Are you gonna let me
yeah.
in?" And he just walks in, sort of. So he does seem to have a level of familiarity with at least one of the Karens in this instance.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's further shown when he kind of starts physically touching her in a way that it implies a relationship.
Yeah.
And as he physically touches her and gets a little more sexual, he starts to choke her too.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, what's happening now?
Yeah.
Like, what is the cab agent doing? But then she's just like, could you please not do that? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you liked that. It wasn't like a cab agent brutality. It was like we have previously had rough sex and like...
There's some form of previous consent within that kind of touching that you can glean from that.
Yes. Adrian is certainly familiar with Karen Setman, for sure. And so that's, of course, who he thinks he's engaging with. But we find out that, oh, well, Monday certainly didn't mention this.
Well, none of the three girls left here know who this is.
Yeah,
And so they're like, who the fuck is this guy? Were you seeing him? Were you seeing him? No? Okay. Yeah. And so they try to find out by hatching a plan. They're like, go to his house and find out which one of us he was seeing, essentially.
Yeah, because they don't actually know. They just know that one of them apparently likes to be choked. For sure. So.
And Friday works up a plan where if she happens to bring her bracelet close to Adrian's, they get an end to the cab's systems, essentially.
Yeah. Friday once again coming in with the neat trick here, like the added device, like a camera, or in this case, like a way of hacking.
Yeah, and like Kyle mentioned before, just like she's acting as the oracle. Like anytime they need something within the system or to figure something out, Friday is the person to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So. Let's see, where are we scene-wise?
So what we were doing is, well, first off, we're informed at least a little bit, I guess oddly, that Saturday, despite being the, again, girl that gets to go out on a party night and a party girl reputation, she's a virgin. She's very nervous about this happening, just from the sense of like, I have never had a penis inside of me.
Thursday and Saturday talking about like what is her plan, what are they going to do, and Thursday just like slyly alludes to, well, have sex with him, tempt him with sex, and we discover Saturday's a virgin. We'd think the party girl of all of them would be sexually active and experienced, and no.
And I think that's also interesting within sibling or these sister dynamics is, how do you keep secrets? Like, your whole entire life needs to be shared, and even with someone so close to you, I can't imagine if you're trying to keep a secret, you have to hold that so close to your heart in order not to let on at all.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing to think about the effort that it takes to hold on to a secret when your whole life is kind of public for your sister's protection.
Well, and knowing what the consequences are, like of withholding information can be. Like they're finding that they all assumed anyway that Saturday was sexually active. No, not true at all.
And then to find out a new facet of your sister, you thought she was this kind of slut. She just gets dick down every Saturday.
She apparently talked big about it. So
and here she is like trying to man up to the situation, and then her sisters are learning that was all an act.
Yeah.
She thought that that's what she needed to present to her sisters and the world, and so that's what she showed. But in reality, similar to like Sunday when she was dying, she's like, I don't know who I am. This might be Wednesday's moment of thinking, who Saturday's moment of like, who am I? Am I this party chick that I've been telling everyone, even though that's literally not who I am? It's just a different dynamic.
Yeah, they've all been keeping secrets, and they all have profound doubts about who they are and their relation to the world and their position in it. And they have all the doubts that any person would have. Except that they have to live 1/7 of a life, and they have to keep things so desperately regimented and strict and secret. So it's just the normal pressures of life, and then the pressures of this desperate situation they're in too. Yeah, exactly. But they're discovering, they're all keeping secrets. Like there are things they don't know about each other, and that's amazing because they know basically everything about each other except seemingly the most important things. Like they had no idea that Sunday was just racked with existential doubt. They had no idea. Like, what a secret, what a thing to discover, and they had no idea. Like, wow. So
Saturday takes off with him to presumably go get fucked, while the other girls remember Wednesday's in trouble. They're like, oh shit, actually. Remember Wednesday? Like, running from absolute, like, legions of men with guns?
Exactly.
Like,
So they go back to Wednesday.
She's doing all right, though, because as soon as we come back to her, she clobbers a guard in the face with a pipe. Well, again, the men in the background don't react at all. They're totally fine
Factory
with this.
workers like, oh, cool, just another Wednesday
don't
here.
know nothing, don't see nothing.
Right.
I'm not here. Yeah. That is pretty hilarious, actually.
Friday gives her way up to the roof at this point, where she finds a very large leap to the next roof waiting for her.
Yeah, so the path that she's directed on to escape, it takes her to the roof, and she's got to make the leap. All right, she's the athletic one. This is what she can do. She's got to leap across a giant gap between two buildings to escape. This is her only chance, and Thursday's explaining to her, you can either go back down there and get shot, or you can jump across the other building, but at least this way you got a chance. Some dreadfully ironic foreshadowing, as we're about to discover, but anyway, she revs up, she
runs for it. Yeah,
she's going for it. She leaps, and it looks like she's going to make it. She's going to make it, but here comes Joe. We don't see Joe for a while. Like the vehicle wrecks. He's got a scratch on his scalp, and we don't see him for a while though. But apparently but we do see him tracking Wednesday's bracelet. We get a little scene of his tablet tracking her.
Is that what that was? Because now he definitely is one step ahead versus all the guards are one step behind her.
We don't see what happens to him after that, but apparently he was following her very closely and got ahead of her and has intercepted her.
If Friday can do it, probably this giant government agency can figure this out.
And so he has intercepted her at the absolute critical moment, and as she is about to complete the jump, he shoots her in midair, and she does make it, but getting shot and all that, she's hanging. She's hanging off the ledge.
She was going to make it. The momentum fully shifts backwards. She was headed forwards in her leap, and then the gunshot puts her back. And But it does leave her just clinging to the edge in a very Mufasa-like Scar thing, which gives him enough time, Joe, to sort of walk up to the edge slowly and dramatically shoot her in the head.
Again, it's real grim, and the sisters see this too,
all through the body cam.
And they cut to the footage of the cam too. Like we see outside view of the sister jumping across the buildings. We see her momentum go backwards because of the gunshot. She's hanging on the side of the building for dear life. She gets shot again, and then immediately we go to the camera that's on Karen Setman and just see the top of the building get further and further away as we know that the body is falling down to earth.
Yeah, the sisters are aghast at what they've just witnessed, and it cuts back to the camera, and we see blood, like a pool of blood forming, like emanating from where we can imagine is Wednesday.
And at this point, Monday's missing. Tuesday is at best incarcerated.
With a missing eye.
Right. Wednesday and Sunday are dead, and Saturday is going to get laid. If we're keeping track of
Meanwhile, yeah. So after this grim scene with Wednesday, we find Saturday with Adrian on this scheme to.
Well, Thursday and Friday are first looking at the contract that Wednesday uploaded to him. Further, I think we've already alluded to it, frankly, but millions of euros were illegally transferred to Nicolette Cayman's campaign fund, and it was done the same day Karen Setman got her promotion.
Yeah.
But weirdly, there's no signature for Karen on the document.
Yeah. So the sisters theorize that this is what secured the promotion. Again, they know nothing about this. There's all kinds of things about, especially this particular day, that they don't know. And this is perhaps something that was just, again, not told to them. So another deadly secret. But yeah, so they now find this contract, and then we find Saturday at Adrian's apartment, Adrian's place.
Right.
So we'll be right back.
Oh man.
Okay, well, I think we're going to break this one into two bits. We just have so much to talk about, and we don't want to torture you with a massive 4-hour-long episode to swallow. So
fear not, part 2 will come hot on the heels of part 1, so it will be here for you. And if you come listen to it later, it'll already be here. So enjoy.
It'll be great. Stick around and listen to part 2.